welcome along and welcome to this first look at the Great Plateaus, a new mod map by TNTmodding released today on the Mod Hub for PC, Mac, PS4 and Xbox One. This is an awesome map from what I've seen so far. It adds in both grapes and olives as new crops, which is brilliant. It's a really nice starting out. I mean, this is where you get plunked down and where you start off. You've got the standard in-game house. I think this is the standard one from... would this be the standard? Yeah, I think this is the standard one from the basic European map. In-game, you've got a nice silo in the middle here, plenty of equipment, and we'll go through the equipment later on, but yeah, it looks like you get started with plenty of equipment on here. And then things like around the corner here, you've got various silos and things to refill from. And this yard actually goes for quite a way down here. So yeah, quite a lot of stuff nicely built in. And nicely started off with. We're going to have a drive around this and have a look. Before we do that though, let's have a quick look at the map itself. And you can see here we have 73 fields in total, all fairly small size. But despite the fact that it's called the Great Plateaus, I think it's lots of little smaller ones by looking at the size of these fields. Now, 12 of these fields are already planted with grapes and olives, with a silo and storage shed set up for both of them. And you do need a few extra mods to run this map. You need the Broad 9000L, the DRL 140N, and the Grape Planter, all by Black Eyes Modding. And that will allow you to do the extra crops on here. And yeah, we've got a good amount. So what do you start with when you start on here on New Farmer? You start with just field 2 by the looks of things. So yeah, not much that you start with on here. You do start with this whole outer area of the map, but as that's worth nothing, that does make a bit of sense. Smallest field on here is going to be somewhere like 29, I think. 34,000. I don't think there's anything particularly smaller I could see. Yeah, the smallest fields are around about the 40,000, 30,000, 35,000 mark. The largest field, the largest area would be this woodland here at 1.1 million, sorry. And yeah, that is your most expensive area, this big expanse of woodland that comes down here. The largest field, I think, looks to be 58. That is 294,000. Yeah, that is by a way the largest field on here. So yeah, it's fairly good start from scratch map, I would say, providing the area is pretty good. And considering how much of the main yard is placeables, I think it should work pretty well from that point of view. Let's have a drive around it. We have got 82 studios, or 82 Square Studios, a fantastic TLX we're going to be taking around this today. And we're going to head round, and we're actually going to head south from here first. Go around the southern part of the map and have a look. And I love the difference in elevations on this. I mean, a map called the Great Plateaus that has grapes and olives in it. I'm kind of expecting a lot of variation in the terrain, and it's not disappointing from that point of view. The roads are really big and wide. I think if these are main roads, I think I would maybe have liked to have some road markings on them. And if they're not, if they're more sort of smaller roads, I think I'd probably like them to be a little less wide. But that is a minor gripe. There's nothing major in that. We have a farmyard here, though. And what have we got in here? This would appear to... no, this is not a yard. This is the animal market. So, yeah, standard animal market from Felsbrunn. And yeah, fits in here quite nicely. It does appear to be a European feeling map, which again makes sense with both vineyards and olives. and seems to work well from that point of view. I do love the variation in the shapes of the fields. They're all that, you know, fairly odd in shape, which is great. A little bit different, I think. Let's head up the top here and see what we got up this way in a sell point. And yeah, we've got grain sell point up here, nice and wide. I think this map would do fairly well on a console playthrough. There's lots of space. It should, despite the shape of the fields not being wholly nice to the standard AI in-game, there's still a lot of overlap and a lot of space, so it'll be a very forgiving map from that point of view. I'm going to reverse up a little bit because we do have a sell point up here, and we're heading up into the mountains. I'm never quite sure exactly where to place the camera with maps with elevation like this. You kind of want to take the whole thing in, but I also don't want to move the camera around too much, so I can give you guys an idea of the feel for this map without making everything blurry and difficult to see. Let's head around here and into this point here. And yeah, again, really nice big sell point. Works very well, nicely detailed. It feels a very simple map. This in terms of its layout, but I really do like it. It is it's great in its simplicity, and as a result, it works well. It really does. Let's head down this way, I think, and just try to keep an eye on the map and see which way around we're going. We seem to have another farmyard down this way, and as I said earlier on, I am really quite liking the variations in elevation on this. They do work quite well. Let's bring this round and down here. This is just a silo in the middle of nowhere by the looks of things. But it's, yeah, it looks like this might be a yard to purchase. Yeah, you've got a nice big shed here as well. So that would be a good yard to base yourself if you wanted to. And, oh, actually, I think these bits down here, this is the storage shed and the silo for the grapes and the olives, I think, because down here, these are our fields of both of those things. So this here, I'm guessing, is the olives. No, this is the grapes. So those are grape saplings. These here similarly are grape saplings. So do we have any olives down here, or are all of these rows here just the grape fields? It looks like they are. And these are the squarest fields on here. But yeah, this looks like it is all grapes down at these fields down here. I did see a little bit of colour variation when we were looking on the map a minute ago. So red grape saplings are everything there. What is the white? Oh, white grape saplings are there. And then the olive saplings are what is back at the thing. So these are all white grapes down the bottom here. So it is 3 new crops here. Red grapes, white grapes, and olives are all available on this map. Really nice, and really pleased to see that this is a map that is compatible and does work on consoles as well. Means that these crops are there too. I know this isn't the first map to bring those things to console, I don't believe, but it is nice to see another map taking advantage of the extra equipment and things that has come from previous. And yeah, this is the olives, so there we go. Interesting textures on these, but it does still work, which is good. Let's head back out this way, and we'll continue our route around the map. We've got there's quite a bit of forestry on here. Not surprising on a map that does have variations in its elevation like this one does. Quite good to see that kind of stuff around on here. I am gonna take us into here first, though. This is the pretty large BGA, and look at the size of those silage clamps. Those are massive. Does it tell me how much these will hold? It doesn't. But I would guess that these hold a really big amount of silage. It would take a lot of fields to fill those. Over here you have got your sell point for silage, and around the back over there I believe that pipe is probably where your slurry comes out. And there is a fuel station over there, bioenergy over that way. And as we come back around this road and head out this way, we go past our grape fields again and start moving down and towards the forestry area. Need to kind of stay on the road. And yeah, we have a good woodland here. What is the detail in the woodland like? Fairly sparse, to be honest. Not a lot of detail in here. As you guys know, in my first looks, I like to look at the forestry area, see if there's any added details in them. And there's not, which is, I always find a little bit disappointing. Even just a few patches of grass in an area like here, where you've got light coming through, would be quite good. But, yeah, and a few bushes and things around the trees. So, that is a pity. Although, here we have got some very nice detail. That waterfall and that bridge are gorgeous, heading out into that lake. That is pretty cool. I do like that. But you begin to see at this kind of distance and looking at the woodland, what missing those little touches of detail kind of gives it that a little bit of plainness. Let's head up this way, because I believe in this set of woodland we should have our sawmill up this way. If we bring this up here, and yes, there it is. So sawmill is here, nicely placed in the middle of the woodland, not too far to transport your stuff, unless of course you are the other side of the lake. In which case you have to go all the way round. And I'm going to head back out to the main road because the shop is up this way here. And brings you out down here. It looks like the standard Felsburn shop that we've got on this map. But it does, I mean, for the simplicity of this map, I think it will play really well. And that is a huge bonus to it for me. Yes, so this is the default Felsburn shop, extended a little bit. No, that is actually fully the default Felsburn shop, and yeah, fits this map really well. It is very much that feeling of a European map to it. And then we'll head up this way, because otherwise we're heading back to our yard, and then it's quite a big arc we're going to be going on around the top of this map. There we go, up this way. And yeah, it's clean. It's the Felsburn, but it's very obvious that this has been built in its initially off the Felsburn setup. I'm just looking at the various bits we've got here and trying to figure out. There we go. There's our sell point. It's I do like it. It isn't as detailed as some maps I've had a look at, but I think I like it for its simplicity in that. That is, which is a slightly odd way for me to approach it, I think, but it's got enough character and enough of its own feel to it for me to go, yeah, I like this. I like this quite a bit. So winding and up to these higher levels. Just trying to see, do we want to be going further up here? No, because that is the edge of the map, so we want to take a left here and head round the top. And you can see how the elevation on this map plays to its strength and just pulls you up through these hills and takes you to the biggest field on the map, and you can see the far end of it, so it isn't that big a field. Yeah, definitely a smaller equipment map, this. And that I think is the oddity I find. You could get equipment of any size around pretty much every part of this map. I mean, this map, this road is wide enough to get a triple-tired Challenger up and round it. And yet you have no fields that would require that. So I think that possibly is something I'd like to have seen here is tighter roads, and it's one of the first things I picked up on. But as I said, I still like it. I still think this map works and works well, especially if you want to take on a different crop in grapes and in olives. That would be quite cool, and I am eager to see those crops in Farm Sim. I think it'd be awesome to have those crops in base game, and so to see maps integrating those, that is brilliant. That is absolutely awesome. I think the road up to the castle and everything up there was a way back, because yeah, there's no way to get at it from here. So I think it was along the ridge that we went round, and it's, yeah. And then you can see why it's called the Great Plateaus, because it's everywhere where there is an area that is in any way flat, we've got a field, which is quite cool. Sell point here. In fact, we've got a couple of sell points here. Oh, yeah. What do we got here? So we've got. That looks like. Okay, so this is interesting. This looks like a sheep area. Does this map implement one of those functions that I really love on maps at the moment? Let's have a look. We do not. Yeah, so we've got the barn, so that'll be for selling straw there. But we're at this farm here, and if I go and buy this land, we can do. Yes, yeah, it does. Look at that. We now suddenly have access to the horse paddock. Brilliant. I absolutely love that piece of functionality. It's a piece of functionality that I've seen on Six Ashes, and we've seen on other maps recently as well. Absolutely wonderful to see that. You buy and sell, and it includes those paddocks and things with the brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Seeing that in maps is just excellent, because that makes MP so much easier to set up as well, because when the farm buys the land, it assigns that to its farm. Makes things so much easier. We have a sell point down the bottom here as well, bringing us down here. I think we get a look. No, we don't. There's no real views out over the valley is the only thing I would say. What is that a sell point for? What is this building? And the road. Oh, the road goes the other side of it there. I'm guessing that's going to be a sell point maybe for wine and stuff. Is that? Oh no, that's the spinnery. That is where our wool goes. So wool and cotton would be sold there. And then we come down, we come through a fuel station here, not marked on the map, so I doubt this is a refueling point, which is a pity. It would be nice to have bits like that enabled for fuel as well, but again, there's nothing on here that is bad. There is nothing on here that's bad at all. There are things that, there are niggles. As always with this stuff, and that then brings us back down here. Where does this road take us? Let's have a quick look. That will take us down and round to a selling station down this way, and will loop us back towards the farm a bit as well. Water tower in the middle. That's quite cool, and yeah. I think one main road or one large main road would have been a nice way to go with this, and maybe not had everything quite this paved. This is not even paid. Is this concrete or is that... I suppose it is asphalt that we've got here. Selling point here. And back out. And yeah. I'm liking that a lot. And bring us back around down here. And back round this way. And back round here to our main farmhouse and our starting farm on New Farmer. And that is a really nice map. I do like that. That is highly playable. Is very cool. Brings in new fruits and new stuff. Has the ability that you buy the land and it buys buildings and animal areas on it as well. Let's turn this off. There we go. And that is wonderful functionality too. I think it's a little plain in places and could do with a little bit more detail, but that is a minor issue and by no means something that makes the player, reduces the playability of this at all. So all in all, yeah, if you're on console or PC and you want to do some grapes and some olives, I think this is a great map. Shall we have a look though at what equipment you start with on here? So let's go into the garage. Again, we have New Hollands. Brilliant. A T5 and a T6. 117, 175 horsepower, plus a TX32 combine in your starting thing. I think those, for the size of the fields on here, are great. You also get yourself a 1978, if I can stop going past it, a 1978 pickup. You get 2 trailers. You get an HK 302 Agroliner and a FarmTech TDK 1600. I'm not sure if you need both of those. 21,000 litres and 14,000. I would be tempted to, if you don't like dolly trailers, I'd be tempted to sell both of those and get the Agroliner without the dolly. If you can handle dolly trailers, I'd be tempted just to sell the FarmTech. I wouldn't necessarily say you need 2 trailers for this on here. TX32 header for the combine and the Corn Champion 5R. Brilliant starting setups. Again, perfect for the size of fields. A Star of Fox 11 that has a 3.7 meter. Works well again under the horsepower requirements of the tractor. A Multivator 5-in-1 at 240 horsepower. What is our highest horsepower? 175 and 117. That's an oddity. I don't think I would sell that, I think, and get a subsoiler that will actually work with your tractors. That is a bit much, or a bit too much power required for the tractors you have on here. So you either need to upgrade your tractors to use this, or you need to sell it and get one that your tractors will work with. You've got a Vatstad Spirit R300S. Yep, I think that's a great little seeder, that. And then you've got the Lemkin Oryx 9 with the Solitaire 23 front tank. Again, good setup for that. The Breedle K105 is a good fertilizer and lime spreader. New Holland Discbine 313 is a decent mower, about right for on here as well. Zelon CFS 2501DO forage wagon. Is a decent sized forage wagon. The Knight RA 142 is a good feeding trailer, and the Joskin Aquatrans 7300S water trailer. So yeah, good for your animals, both of those. And then we've got an FZ30 front loader with a bucket, a bale spike. So those are good. We've got the TX32 header trailer, and then you can see that most of our farm stuff is built from placeables, so you can reconfigure your farm on this. None of the sheds, by the looks of things. So yeah, you can reconfigure the farmhouse, you can't reconfigure the sheds. That's a little bit odd in a couple of things here. The bale spike, I don't think is needed. You've got nothing to create bales with. I would also say I would probably not have the bale spike and have a tedder and a windrower instead. And then use loose stuff on here. But the other question I've got is, do you start this farm with any animals? Let's have a look at that and see if... So yeah, we've got no pens or animals, but we've got a whole load of stuff for pens and animals. In fact, no, we do have pens, because we've got the chickens over here. So we've got the chicken pen there, and we've got a cow pen over here. I think these are all part of what we own. Well, they must be part of what we own because they're enabled. So yeah, we do have space for chickens and cows. So having those things, yeah, I'd get rid of the bale spike, and I would probably get yourself a windrower and a tedder. And that way you're nicely set up, getting going with the cows nice and early on, getting them producing milk, and that will work well. So all in all, nice map. Nothing more than a few minor niggles. I would say go check this out. As I said earlier, if you're on PC or console, go check this map out, especially if you want to have a go at doing grapes and olives. It's a fantastic map, very playable. Go check it out. And that means that all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this first look. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos from Virtual Farmer, please subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.